Welcome to Behind the Business Scene, presented by Amato Media, and your host, Ryan Amato.
Good morning, everybody. It is yours truly, Ryan Amato Painting, and Amato Media, among other things. Today, we're going to talk about a hot topic for customers and in the painting industry, and that is the S word, subcontractors. You know, sometimes you say subcontractor and some people shiver. They think it's the worst thing in the world. I mean, heck, even if you would have asked me 2-3 years ago, I would have said there is no way we would ever use a subcontractor, even though unknowingly we've been using subcontractors forever. And unknowingly, you use subcontractors in everything you do every day. So let's get this straight first. There is no right, there is no wrong. I'm fortunate enough to know a lot of different painting contractors across the United States, Canada, really across all over the world. And I know successful painting contractors that use employees and they love it. I also know successful painting contractors that use subcontractors and they love it and would never do it any other way. I also know painting contractors that use employees and it's horrible. And vice versa. I know painting contractors that use subcontractors and it's horrible. The work's bad. So there is no right or wrong. Just because you're using employees doesn't mean that your work is better than the company using subcontractors. And just because you're using subcontractors doesn't mean that your work is better than the ones using employees. And then there's hybrids. There's companies that use some employees, and when they have overfill, they subcontract the work out. So let's go back. So why is it bad and maybe a misnomer that using subcontractors is bad? So my head years ago would think that they're subcontractors, they don't care about the work, they just come in, they're not real companies, they're trying to get it done as fast as they can, and they're out. And if something happens, they never come back to take care of it. And on the other hand, if you have employees, well, they have a vested interest in making sure that the job is good so they can keep their job. They all care about their boss so much. They want to keep the company going strong. And they all do great work and they're all highly trained. So there are some truths in that, and there are some, falsehoods in that, certainly. In any business that you go to, do you think every employee cares about the business that they work for? Not at all. I've worked as an employee, and I know the guys that were and girls that were around me. You're lucky if 50% of them cared. And the same goes for subcontractors. You're not going to get every subcontractor that's going to be a great painter, great company. You're going to have to sift through them until you find the ones that are good. So we have to keep that in mind, guys. It's not always going to be a perfect world on either end. Subcontractors typically, or should be, licensed, have their own liability insurance. If they have employees, they should have workman's compensation insurance on them. What we found by using subcontractors is, hey, we were good. We are good at marketing, social media, managing a business, maybe not so good at managing the day-to-day job sites or managing painters. So when we were able to realize that and step back and say, okay, we're going to be the best marketing, social media company that paints. There's nothing wrong with that, guys. Nothing wrong with that at all. Just as there's nothing wrong with company B that says, you know what, we are awesome. We are awesome at managing day-to-day. That's our strong point, and we're going to use all employees because we can train them. We have systems set up to train these people, and everything's going to be great and never have any struggles. Well, we know that's not true. Everybody has struggles. The companies with employees have struggles, just as the companies with subcontractors have struggles. So remember, being an employee versus being a subcontractor, it's just a difference of how they're paid. One is paid with a payroll check, with payroll taxes taken out. The other is given a 1099 and they're responsible for their taxes. Benefit of using a subcontractor is, guess what? You're not really responsible anymore for those hours. Having employees, guys, you got to know where every hour is going. And from our experience, a lot of those hours were lost, dead hours. They were going to the paint store 2-3 times a day. They were going to smoke a cigarette 2-3 times a day. And unless you're on the job, overlooking them, overseeing them, micromanaging them, it's impossible to manage over 20 painters at one time for us. Other companies can do it. We decided to go a different route. Now, this is nothing new. In your everyday daily life, you're running into subcontractors. You have your cable TV or direct TV. Most of those guys and girls are subcontractors. You have delivery people for Amazon, for UPS. They use subcontractors here and there. So does the post office. Lots of companies you use every day use subcontractors. They might call them something different. They might call them freelancers. So, a lot of companies use freelance marketing people or freelance advertising people. They are subcontractors. They're paid through a 1099, not an employee. Again, the benefit of using this method is you've greatly reduced your payroll taxes. In fact, there are virtually none. As long as you do everything correctly, there's no workman's compensation. It's going to be covered by the subcontractor that you use if they have other employees. What you want to watch out for, and maybe this is where subcontractors get a bad name, is they're not properly licensed. In Pennsylvania, you at least have to have your contractor's license. If you have employees, you must have workman's compensation. But I'll guarantee, I'll tell you a funny story. I was in the paint store about a year ago, and typically you run into other painting companies, other painting contractors, business owners, and there was about 4 or 5 of us standing around the counter, and I was complaining about a workman's compensation audit. So if you don't know, if you have workman's compensation, you get audited every year. It's nothing against you. They just do it to make sure you're paying your fair share, or if you've overpaid, you get a refund back. So we were talking about this, and one of the painters' owners, who's been in business a long time in our area, looked at me and said, "What's workman's compensation?" And he was dead serious. He wasn't being sly, he wasn't being comical, wasn't trying to tell a joke. He had no idea what workman's compensation was. Thank God that he didn't learn the hard way. But, we've had an injury or two over the years, and with not for workman's compensation, guess who's paying for that? We are. So if you're going to use subcontractors or any contractor, you have to make sure they're properly licensed, properly insured, and everything that goes along with that. What we expect by using a subcontractor is they are businesses. They are real businesses, viable businesses who they love to paint. They're good at painting. They're good at managing the job site. And maybe they're just tired of doing estimates. They're tired of doing all the paperwork. They're tired of doing all that business stuff. That's where we come in. We do all that for them. We do all that for them and more. They take care of the jobs. We manage the customer for them. We manage the client. We make sure everything is good, and you go from there. So you might say, as a client, well, why wouldn't I just hire them directly? Well, guys, good luck, because trust me, we spend countless hours every day, countless hours every week, every month, hiring and recruiting, and that's a major part of our business because These companies don't grow on trees. They're not out there for everybody to pick apart and use. Trust me, there's not that many of them. So we do all that work for you. Imagine trying to find a really reliable contractor on your own and you have no idea about the contracting business. Are you going to interview 10, 20 people every day? No, that's where we come in. So we like to think that we're still giving a fair price. The subcontractors are making money. We're making money, and the customer is getting a great experience and a great job. Does it always work out that way? No. Will it work out that way if we had employees? No. We just chose to go a different route. So remember, just because you're a subcontractor or your company that you're using is using subcontractors, you have to move your head around it. You can't just think that, I hired, painter A company, and now here comes a whole different company, and they're just giving the job to somebody else. No, we're having somebody else physically do the job. It's still our job, done our way. So using subcontractors is not a bad thing. Using employees is not a bad thing. It's what's best for your company. And don't be ashamed of it. We tell every customer that asks us that that's who's coming in to do the job and why, and exactly the same reasons I just told you right here. So again, do the best thing for your company. Subcontractor, employee-based, doesn't matter, as long as you can give your customer what you promised. Hey everybody, thanks for listening to my podcast. If you're looking for social media content for your contracting business, painting contractors, carpenters, electricians, any type of contractor, please check us out on Instagram at Amato Media, or check us out on LinkedIn. We can definitely help you all out. So have a great day.